feeling so small. Watch the clock ticking off the wall. But tonight I'm letting it go. Spend my coin for sure. I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. If my peers and subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we're going to be covering the Northeastern December or tornado, as you will call it. And this is a tarot card reading along with a challenge, some basics and stuff like that. So this is going to be a multiple part video. It's not just going to be a one and done video. It's going to be very similar to what we did with the California earthquake, where we kind of made videos that are like prequels or sequels to the original. So in this case, this will be the original video, and there will be many to follow. It'll be a follow-up. Now, the question I always get asked the most is, do I see this happening this December? The question is, I don't know. The reason for that is because this was just an internal gut feeling that I had for a very long time. I had this for about 2 years now, and it's just becoming stronger and stronger as the days and weeks and months goes on. Now, this video was supposed to be made last year. A lot of the videos that were made this year were supposed to be made back in 2020 and back in 2021, but I have been delayed or was not ready to do those videos just yet. So this is one of those videos that was supposed to be made many years in advance. So we're going to be discussing this specifically. I really don't have a lot or any questions written down. I'm just going to be going through what I feel intuitively, and then we'll be answering your questions that you guys have for the specific video based on this specific topic. And then we'll be creating sequels. We will be covering another national disaster video sometime this month or next month. We'll be going back to California earthquakes. Yes, that's right. We're going to be talking about California earthquakes again. We're also going to be talking about the Canadian fault line next to Canada and British Columbia in Canada, which is also the northern aspect of Oregon and Washington. And then we're also going to discuss as well as the East Coast tsunami and the asteroid, which we have briefly spoke about in a couple of our national disaster videos. If you have been with me for quite a while, you may have remembered me talking about tornado dreams, my tornado vision, my asteroid, my tsunami prediction, earthquake, stuff like that. So if you've been with me for a while, you may remember or recall some of those. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Paul. What's up, my love? So we're going to go right into it. I'm not going to waste your time. This video is being recorded on November 1st, 2022 at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check right here on my little Google. You can see the current news article. This is the current news article. You can see it on the top of my left corner screen. It's 3:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I won't be on recording for long. So this is going to be a very short video. Again, like I said, there's going to be follow-up to the video. And I might actually do a separate video where I actually try to channel and see if maybe I can get more information on what's going on. So this video is just for entertainment purposes only. Feel free to read the disclaimers on your own time. Please keep in mind this video is just entertainment purposes only and for education purposes only as well. So now, as you all know, I just went live like moments ago, and I only have so much time to really prep for this video because I was actually just not going to do the video. But then Dennis was like, well, what are you guys going to do? The tornado video? And I was like, okay, maybe I have to do it now because somebody reacts. But yeah, so I have like the stuff here. We're not going to answer any questions because I don't have any questions written down, but we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of it. Now, before we do begin, I just want to quickly let you know that we are having a midterm 2022 watch party. So if you are interested in joining or you want to come watch us on election day, we will be having MSNBC in the background, so you will still be able to catch up to all the news and whatever's happening with the election. All you have to do is just hit notifications on, and you will be notified when I am live on November 8th. So if you are interested, we will be having some special guests. We'll be talking about spirituality, politics, and many other stuff. So normally I would take this stuff and then be able to give you more of an education description here, but we're just going to go ahead and go with this. So just bear with me. So we have the northeast region. Now, as you see here, we have a lot of mountainous terrain. So if I know anything about tornadoes need flat land in order to properly form. Quote me if I am wrong. Okay, I've never experienced a tornado ever in my life. But I've been seeing them in my vision. A lot of them all had flat land. So as you look here in the topography of the northeastern region, we have New York. But if you like zoom in, I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see the zoom in. Okay, maybe not. But if you look in where Michigan is, like, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, some parts of Canada, you can really see here all the flat land. Well, if you look towards the East Coast and where Buffalo is on the aspect of where Rochester is and Buffalo in New York, that is also flat. We have Long Island where I live, which is a little island off the coast of Long Island. You can see here that there is flat as well, which is where I kept seeing tornadoes. And then we also have southern portion of New Jersey. We have Delaware and Virginia. But then again, Dennis does make a very good point here that there has been tornadoes in southwest Pennsylvania in February. Not a lot, but a few of them. So it is possible that even though the terrain is very rough, it still does not dispute the idea that a tornado can occur. So, I'll go a little bit in the description of what I saw in a moment, but I kept seeing this one is really big because this one's like an F6, but it's not on national scale. So if you look on the scale here, we have the old scale compared to the new one. When we look at the new one, which is on the left side here, we have F4. An EF4 tornado is between 166 to 200 miles per hour wind. But for F6, I see something higher than 200 miles per hour, right? And so it will be really, if in really retrospect, it will have no classification rating. But if it was to classify, it will be a 6. So if we're looking here, let me see here. Yeah, so wind miles per hour, it's a little bit blurry. I apologize for that. But an F6 will be 319, 379. If this was to ever occur, it will be one of the rarest tornadoes to ever hit, but one of the largest. And it will be pretty devastating, to say the least. So now if you're going to want to know, and I want to give you some background on how tornadoes form and how they operate, it says here, inside thundercloud, warm and humid air rises, while cool air falls along with rain or hail. These conditions can cause spinning or air currents inside the cloud. Although the spinning current starts out horizontal, they can turn vertical and drop down from the cloud, becoming a tornado. So we're going to go see if we can pull up a nice little figure for how that operates. Let's see. Yeah, this might be the best solution. Okay, so you see how as warm air rises, because warm air is lighter and not as heavy, as dense as cold air. So to think about it this way, right? Think about it like oil in a pan. When oil moves very fast, it moves very rapidly, right? The vibration of the oil is moving very fast. So warm air is moving at a faster vibrational rate, which makes it lighter because it has more air pockets compared to cold air, which is more cold and dense. So think of water compared to ice cube. Ice cube is more dense than water because it is solidified, because it vibrates at a lower frequency than water does. And therefore, water is lighter and can be easily movable compared to a solidified object, which in this case would be the heavy, dense water molecule, ice. And so that is also how that operates and works. So as this is the best description here, is stronger wind aircraft. So as the warm air moves up, the cold air goes down and it creates a sort of a tunnel. And this is the best condition for a tornado to form, right? You see here we have the hot air rising with the cold air going down, and it's in a circular motion creating a tornado, right? This can happen anywhere. But like states like Florida get them so frequently because they have the cold air from the north and from California moving in with the Gulf of Mexico, very warm air, creating the perfect condition for a tornado to form. Now, the thing is, you're like, okay, what does this have to do with the Northeast? And I'm going to go a little bit more in detail in a moment, right? But right before we do that, you're probably asking, well, if you're not into a tornado-prone area, well, you're probably going to be asking yourself, okay, so what do we do in case of a tornado, right? You go to your basement or an inside room without windows or the lowest floor, bathroom, closet, central hallway. If possible, avoid sheltering in any room with windows. For added protection, get under something sturdy, like a heavy table or a workbench. Cover your body with a blanket, a sleeping bag, or a mattress. And so here is the continental United States. Where's the picture of the United States? And this is the United States here. I kind of see the northern region from Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. Maybe some Ohio, West Virginia, and Virginia. So that's kind of like what I would classify in my own description at the Northeast. That would kind of be made into more of a bundle. So what we're going to now talk about here is what I've been seeing. So right in front of my house when I was about 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, now I think about it, it was 2020. And then I ended up kept getting all these rains continuously from 2020, December, all the way to early 2021, where I kept seeing these tornadoes and they kept coming to my house. And it was so lifelike and so real that it felt like they were right in front of my house. That's how real it felt. It felt like I was looking out that window. I just kept seeing this dark cloud, the tunnel coming down, and it just touched the ground. And I was a little freaked out though, because I mean, what's the chances of that occurring, right? And so this was early 2021, and I was like, okay, I have to do a video on natural disasters. This is the first time I did a natural disaster video, and I was going to talk about earthquakes, tornadoes, but I ended up turning out that spirit guides were giving me that tornado thing to really hone in on the California earthquake. And at that time, I didn't really know much about earthquakes or anything like that, or even remember anything about it. And so it was very interesting to see how that played out. So if you're wondering the storyline, you can always go back and revisit that very first natural disaster video. Now, this is in the natural disaster playlist. And by that time, I kept getting all these videos, and the vision stopped. It stopped after that video was made, because it almost like it was destiny for me to make those videos. But ever since then, I had this internal gut feeling that this thing was actually real. It felt too realistic to not be real. Because there would be cases where I'll wake up from my dream, and I'll be sleeping on the couch right over here. I'll wake up, and I'll run upstairs, looking outside, expecting a tornado. But guess what? There was no tornado. It was daylight. And it almost felt like, in a way, it was either I was intersecting in another timeline where a tornado was occurring, or it is a vision or a prophecy. But regardless of what it is, I kept seeing it was vivid. It felt real lifelike. And there's been cases where it has been occurring in my life. And so I was like, oh my God, I live in the Northeast. I live in Long Island. We barely ever have a tornado. The last time we had a tornado touch down here was 2021, which ironically enough was about, if I was to do math right, from I think February or March when we did that video. It was 9 months after that video made that a tornado touched down, right, very similar, very close enough to where I live, where when we were doing Christmas decoration, the decoration started flying off the poles and, stuff like that. Turned out a tornado actually touched down on Long Island 9 months after I had that vision. So it was very interesting to really see where it is. Now, if you don't know where Long Island is the little island that comes off the coast of Brooklyn, or even better yet, New York City. So that is kind of where I am. So it's a lot of flat land because it is pretty flat here. But where I live specifically, I live on a hill. So the landscape isn't ideal for tornadoes, but it's flat enough that a tornado can't go up the hill if it needs to, because it is flat. At the flat hill, with still, then again, a tornado can still go up to, and it may change course or direction. So, want to kind of give you a little background knowledge there, and that's what I kept seeing. But that wasn't the only thing I saw. I saw myself in another aspect, in another area, where it was kind of like almost like the Wild West type of thing. It was like this big barn house, probably about a 25-foot barn house. It was white, and I was outside of that barn house. And I remember like walking to the barn house, and all of a sudden I see a tornado touch down. Now this tornado was about like very wide. It has to be about, if I were to do an estimate, about 150 feet wide. It could be even smaller than that, but just based on perspective here, it looks pretty large. And it was whirling around very fast, and I was trying to run. And at this time, I was going through some spiritual turmoil where people were trying to put curses on me, and I'll explain that in another video. But as that was going on, the tornadoes were touching down, and it was coming after us. But we were able to get away, obviously, because I'm still here. But that was in like the vision, and we were running away. We were trying to escape this tornado that was touching down. It was very weird and strange because it felt like it was very familiar, but I didn't know exactly where it was. It could be Kentucky, it could be West Virginia, but it was like one of those country style places, but with a lot of flat land. Like there was a house there, but there was nothing else nearby. So it was like there was any like towns, any or cities. The other one was the one by me, by my house, was a suburbanite type of town, which means it can cause a tremendous amount of damage and possibly kill a lot of people, especially with an F6 tornado. Can probably wipe out the entire island if we don't have a tsunami that's going to potentially come, what's in another video that I will talk about. But I kept seeing an F6. So kind of wanted to give you a little bit of background knowledge, what I've been seeing here. This video was supposed to be made back in 2020. It's now 2022 going into 2023. I know time has passed a lot. So what I'm going to kind of do here is I'm going to kind of like relax and hone down and kind of meditate a little bit and kind of see what other information I get that I could write down and be able to tell you. So I'll be able to do that and see if I can gather information in your own time outside of the video. I'm going to do a channeling. I might even make the channeling video where you guys can channel it yourself and kind of see other natural disasters that may occur. And you guys can tell me, and we can do a video together, and you guys can talk about it. You don't have to have your face publicly, but you can talk about what you saw, and we can do a video on that and whatnot. But anyway, I'm going to do some channeling. You let me know in the comments in the live chat what you think of this video and what you see in terms of Northeastern tornado. Okay, so the first one I got was New Jersey. It will have an F5 tornado with 200 miles per hour wind. 5 people will be dead. Six people will be saved. 250 homes will be destroyed, and the time is unknown. Will there just be one tornado in the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic states, or could there be more this winter, depending on how warm our winter might be? That is a good question. That is actually part of the main part of this video, was the Northeastern December tornado. Was it the warm air that I kept seeing in the Northeast? And so we're going to discuss that now. Thank you for getting me back on track. But yeah, so that's what I see for New Jersey. So New Jersey, an F5, 200 miles per hour wind. 5 people will be dead. 6 people will be saved. 250 homes destroyed, and the time of that tornado is unknown. But again, like I said, I don't know when this is going to take place, specifically for this specific tornado, so I had no idea. But at the time, it's unknown for that tornado specifically. But that is enough key information that so if you find that tornado with that information, you will know, okay, that is the tornado that was being talked about. Okay, the F5, 200 miles per hour wind, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's do December tornado now. I gotta keep calling it the December twister, because that's what it really is. The December twister is what I kept hearing. So I gotta call it by the right terminology. It's December twister. Okay. We know it's an F6. So here's what we know about the December twister. It takes place in the Northeast. It most likely can occur right where I live, which is Long Island. We know that it's going to happen in the month of December, or like it'll be like a Christmas time type of twister. We know that it's an F6, which is not on the radar, or it doesn't even have a rating for it. And then that's what we know so far. But we know this thing is huge. We know it's massive. That's what we know so far about the December twister. Now, we also do know it may take place on Christmas. It's possible as well that may occur. But that is, if you were to compare like 31 days that had the high chance of only 5% of occurring on Christmas and had a 6% chance of occurring on Christmas Eve. So there's that. Okay, so do we have any information spirits angel from the December Twister that I kept getting, the December Twister? I'm going to keep saying December Twister to see if I can get information to come into me. I'm going to try to tune into it. December Twister. The December Twister that I kept seeing, spirits and angel king tune me in. Okay, so I just was able to see the same exact tornado I had in my dream. So actually, this one's an F5. So it decreased from the past time, which was an F6. So it's an F5 with 168 miles per hour wind. Okay, so we know that it's an F5 and it has 168 miles per hour wind. Let me pull that up on the screen right here. Let's see what the thing is. Let's see what would be that classified. Let's see if this is accurate. So 180, that would be an F3. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back here. This one. It said 168 will be an F4. Okay. All right. So it will be an F4 tornado. So it will be an F4. So it's an F5, F4 tornado. So at least we know that it decreased in the terms of strength and power. So this specific twister will be a little bit less weaker than the versatile twister that I had anticipated. So that's good. That's good news that there's less damage overall. Okay, December Twister. What else do we need to know? All right, I got more information. Okay, so for the December Twister, we have an F5 tornado, which would be around, well, really F4 by classified mean, it will be considered an F4. But in the dream, it was an F5, which probably means it kicked up more speed. It will be 168 miles per hour wind with 156 homes destroyed. It will be declared the biggest natural disaster on the East Coast at the moment. So it would be the biggest natural disaster on the East Coast. That will be the headline there on the news article. People be rioting. I see people rioting on the streets for climate change activists. I see, actually, this is really interesting. So along the whole northeastern border, with all the states from Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Virginia, I kind of see like a big dark cloud, like this big giant storm that takes place. And I was asking, okay, so is it going to be like one tornado? Is it going to be one area? I feel like it's going to be happening in multiple different areas. There's going to be a lot of places that are going to be on tornado lockdown, there's going to be some sort of warnings like flooding, thunderstorm watch, lightning watch, along with tornadoes and stuff like that, hail even. And I do see like a large swath of the northeastern part of the area is going to be on some sort of warning. And then some areas that are flatter are going to be under tornado watch or even tornado warning. And so I do see that occurring. I do see a large black cloud that kind of like reshaped, and it looks like a very giant storm. So wherever it is coming from, it's a giant storm that kind of makes a big problem for the Northeast. Because remember, they already have the cold air in the north, right? So you bring in the warm front, the warm and cold together makes tornadoes. Okay. Yeah, so the entire Northeast is a dark cloud here. I actually see, believe it or not, I actually saw a hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean when this is occurring. It happened in the bottom left, so it's kind of like almost like right where North Carolina is. It's kind of like in that area. Now that may cause a major problem because then a hurricane is another tornado. It's just a water tornado. It's really what it is. And so if the hurricane goes up to the Northeast, it could potentially merge with tornadoes, causing more natural disaster. Even added more of a warmer front on top of the cold air, which brings a lot of problems. Which probably means that this is the December tornado. It is very highly probable that we're going to have a very warm December. Not saying this December, because I don't know what December this is going to take place in, but it is a very warm December whenever this is occurring, and it feels like, in a way, the cold and a very warm front, which is really bad. While this is all occurring on the West Coast, from like, where the states that are normally prone to like tornadoes and stuff, like, the Red Wall or like, Missouri, Kansas, stuff like that, they're actually going to be under a very cold, icy winter. So they're going to have a very cold winter, while we're going to have a very warm winter. It almost feels like the wind patterns and the weather patterns flips. And so the Northeast gets warmer. The middle area of where tornado prone areas are going to get colder, which is why that might be a problem for people living in the north, but not almost like a good thing for the people living in the tornado prone areas, because they have, at least my home did get hit by a tornado this year. It's type of the energy of what it feels like. And yeah, so the cold wind is on, the cold front is on the west. We have the warm front in the northeast here, and it's mixing in with the cold air from the west, moving to the right, mixing in, causing major natural disasters to occur, specifically tornadoes and hurricanes potentially merging in and bringing more warm energy, which isn't really needed to form more tornadoes, but will be gladly used and taken. I live in the mountain Fayette County, or the Laurel Highlands of southwestern Pennsylvania. We had tornadoes here in the spring and summer months. Yeah, I do see, when this tornado occurs, it's going to happen, and it's going to look like one of those tornadoes that's out of the blue, kind of happened out of nowhere. No one really expected, but it's going to happen. I do feel like the tornadoes are going to become more prevalent in the Northeast. Well, even though they're saying the Northeast, the Southeast is going to become more prevalent, more prone to tornadoes, I like to rebuke that and say actually that it's going to be the Northeast that has the most tornadoes. It's going to be Tornado Alley, and I do see that the Tornado Alley is just going to move very quickly and it's going to go toward the north. And this may be very bad for people living in Canada, because people in Canada have even flatter land topography, which makes the perfect climate for tornadoes as well. So if you live in Canada, I do see more tornadoes specifically for you. But if you also live in the Northeast like I do see some tornadoes forming as well. I live 10 miles from Frank Lloyd, Wright. Fallingwater. Is Fallingwater safe? No, because I do see a water spout. I do see there might be a lake over there, or like some sort of river, and I see like if it touched down, it's going to touch down in a lake. Now that's a good thing, I think, if I'm correct. I'm not sure how tornadoes work because I never experienced one. But if I am correct, if it touched down on water and it goes on land, it might become weaker. But that might actually not be true, so don't quote me on it. But I do see if it was to touch down in a lake or a river. I do see that there is one by you. can you confirm if that's true or not? I'm not even sure if there is. But I do see water, like a water sprout nearby. Is there anything else for the December Twister spirits and angels? Okay. Yeah, so the young Hinny river run back to it. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you for confirming that. So it looks like in your area there's going to be a water spout type of tornado, or a little baby one. But I don't see anything major. I kind of see very skinny, probably about 2 or 3 feet apart in terms of diameter. I don't see it being that big. But there will be one near you, but I don't see it being causing a lot of damage, so you might be okay. So you can rest assured. For any of you guys else, I just heard from my guys. I asked them if there's anything else for me to cover in this video. They said I did everything. I covered everything I needed to in this video. Although I thought I was going to do tarot cards, that would be in a sequel. So when we do a follow-up video on the December Twister, we'll be doing a follow-up, or we'll be doing tarot cards. So this is kind of like your introduction, kind of getting to know the topic itself and what this entails. And then hopefully we'll be able to gather more information. I'm going to do internal channeling on my own time. And I'm also going to release a singing bowl where you guys can be able to do the singing bowl and be able to understand national disasters at your own time and be able to see them for yourself. I see them more in my third eye, but for you, I might be able to trigger that reaction for you in your dream state or even your vision. So, yeah, so definitely look out for that type of singing bowl. And that's really all that I have for today's video. Thank you for following me, watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to interact with this video and let me know in the comment section below what you think of today's video. I love you all and have a very wonderful day. Oakland State Park and with whitewater rafting is on that river also. Never heard of it, but I know what whitewater rafting is. Isn't that like on like a tube going down a river or something? So guys, let me know what you guys think and what you guys been getting. Have you guys been feeling like there's some sort of tornadoes or twisters, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes? Whatever you're feeling, let me know and feel free to contact me. I do have an opening dream analysis video where I will be more than happy to just talk with you about your dream and then do a video on it. So if you are interested, definitely go to my website and you'll be able to find it there. I love you guys and have a very beautiful day. Bye.